Hello dear students, this is Raksha, Shetty and you're watching Edubassa, your homely learning channel. So today in this video we will be learning about the biology chapter of your 10th standard called as life processes, and today in this video we will be concentrating on the part called as nutrition. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in general, how do we consider something as alive? Just imagine say there is a person walking or running, or just imagine he's just breathing or chewing or shouting. Do we consider that particular person as alive? Obviously yes. Why? Because there is some sort of movement that is going on there, right? So even when the person is asleep, he will be breathing, right? There is some sort of movement that is going to take place, and hence we will consider that particular organism as alive. What about plants then? Can't we consider plants as alive? Yes, plants are alive too. Okay, plants are alive too. They might not undergo the movement. They might not run from one place to another, or breathe, or chew, or shout, or do all these stuffs. But there is some sort of movement that is taking place. That is nothing but the growth. So it is going to grow. So the seed is going to, come out of the earth, and it is going to grow, so which again shows that there is some sort of movement that is being taken place, right? So hence the plants are alive too. The green color as well. So yes, there is secondary that there are some of the plants which is not green in color, yet they are alive. Okay, we will be learning about that further, but mainly some sort of movement is also going to take place in the plants as well, and the plants are alive too. Yes. Now, why is movement necessary for that of the life? See, the movement is very much necessary for that of the life. Some of the movement can be seen to our naked eyes, and some of the movement cannot be seen to our naked eyes. See, some of the movement will be taking place inside our body, but which we cannot see through our naked eyes. There are some of the animals which do breathe, but their breathing we cannot see. Okay, because they are not breathing so heavily, so we cannot see through our naked eyes, but we can't consider them as not alive, right? So thus there are some sort of movement that is taking place which might be visible to our eyes and which might not be visible to our eyes. So that movement which is taking place inside our body, that is called as molecular movement. See, this molecular movement might be taking place when there is production of energy, or when there is repairing of the cells that is been taking place in the body. So during all these cases, some of the molecular movement that is taking place inside our body and keeps us alive. Okay, so that movement we cannot see through our naked eyes, but the movement is still there, right? So these viruses, they do not undergo any of the molecular movement until they infect a host. Okay, outside the host they do not, they are just like a non-living thing. But as soon as they enter the host, they do all of the activities what a living organism does. Okay, they multiply. Okay, they undergo the molecular movement. Yes. Next, why do living beings need movement? Why is movement necessary? Why do they need movement? See, you know that living organisms are the well-organized structures. They have got cells, isn't it? See, the living organism has organ systems to perform various functions. Okay, these organ systems are made up of what? The tissues. The tissues are made up of what? The cells. And the cells contains smaller components again, right? Yes. So they have got tissues, they have got cells, they have got various components in order to perform the different functions. So it is a well organized structure. So when this is a well organized structure and it goes in a systematic way, right? So if there is some changes that is taking place in the environment because of the climatic conditions or because of the accident, it may cause damage to our body. So the repairing of the body is important. Just imagine your bike got a damage because of the accident, so the repairing of the bike is important, right? The same way your system, your organ system, that the repairing of the organ system also is necessary. So while in order to repair that, the molecular movement is going to take place. So the continuous molecular movement is going to take place to keep the structure stable. Yes. Now, what do you mean by life process? So life process is nothing but it is the maintenance process in the living organisms. So some of the processes, some of the events that is taking place in the body of the organism. Why? In order to keep the organism alive, in order to keep the particular organism alive, some of the processes will be taking place, some maintenance events will be taking place. That itself is called as what? Life processes. And this life processes must keep on going. Okay, if organism is not visibly active, it must keep on going, right? Yes. For example, even while sitting idle, even you're sitting, you might think that nothing is going on, but the life process still be going on. You might not be that much active, you are simply resting. During that particular time as well, what? The life process will still be going on. Yes. Next is about the food and energy. See, we consume food, right? So life on earth, whatever the life that is on the earth, it is basically the carbon based, based on that of the carbon based, in the sense all of the food sources that we are going to eat, animal or going to eat, are basically carbon based, in the sense the carbon must be there in our diet. So where we are going to get the carbon from that of the plants. How do the plants prepare this carbon based food? By the process of what? Photosynthesis. By the process of photosynthesis, they prepare the carbon based food, which is nothing but the glucose or the carbohydrate, right? So that we must consume. Either we consume it directly or we consume it indirectly. Directly in the sense, obviously we are going to eat the vegetables, right? We are going to eat the rice, right? So directly we are going to consume, and indirectly in the sense, if we are going to feed on the animals which is dependent on the carbon based food, so indirectly we'll be feeding on the carbon based food, right? Yes. So for the purpose of energy, this carbon based food is important, that is gotten from that of the plants, and the plants prepare that by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so the different organisms use different nutritional processes. So different organisms will be having different type of the nutrition that is going to take place. Yes, so whatever the food that we are taking in, the carbon based food has to be broken down from into the simpler form, from the complex form to that of the simple form, from the large particles to that of the small particles. It has to be what? Broken down. And after it gets broken down, it releases what? Energy, it releases water, and it releases carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide we are going to exhale out because it is a waste product. It is not important for our body, so we exit it out, and the energy is required for all of the activities, for the life process that is taking place in the body, for the repairing purpose, for everything this energy is needed, right? So this breaking down of the food, carbon based food, which is prepared by photosynthesis process, in order to release the energy, is called as respiration. Okay, that we call it as respiration. Now the respiration and the breathing is different. Breathing is inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, whereas respiration is breaking down of the food to produce what? To produce the energy. Yes. Now, how do living things get food? Which we already discussed. Living beings are dependent on the carbon based food. We get it from that of the plants. The plants will prepare their food. They do not depend on the other organisms for their food. They prepare their own food by using some simple organic substances like carbon dioxide as well as water, sunlight, chlorophyll. So by using all of that, they do prepare their own food and produce the carbon based food, which is basically carbohydrate. They use it and we consume it and we again use it, right? Yes. Okay, and the other organisms use complex substances like plants, animals as well as fungi. So now the organisms are classified into two types. One is autotrophs, another one is heterotrophs. Autotrophs is nothing but the plants, okay, which prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, as well as cyanobacteria is an example for autotrophs. Heterotrophs is nothing but which depend on the others for their food. For example, us, we human beings, we depend on the other organisms for the food. Yes. Next, let us learn in detail about autotrophic nutrition. As I told you, autotrophic nutrition is carried out by that of the green plants as well as some bacteria, which is basically cyanobacteria, and it is by the process of photosynthesis. They use the raw material, which is carbon dioxide. Where the plants get the carbon, just imagine this is the plant, okay. They get the carbon dioxide, obviously, which is exhaled by us, the human beings. So the carbon dioxide content will be present in that of the atmosphere, the air, through the help of the stomata. Stomata is just like our nostril, okay. So they exchange the gases, help in the exchange of the gases. We will be further learning about what is stomata and everything. Just make sure that there is one, just think that there is one stomata over here, and it will take up the oxygen, carbon dioxide present over in the air. And now the carbon dioxide, you understood from where it is gotten. The water will be gotten through that of the roots. With the help of the xylem, it is going to transfer to that of the leaf. Obviously, leaf is a part, food factory. Okay, it is a part where photosynthesis is taking place, where the production of food is going to take place. Then it is going to transfer to the different parts with the help of the phloem. Okay, phloem, you know, isn't it? A phloem transports the food particles. Yes, from the water, whatever the from the root, whatever the water is going to travel to that of the leaf. And now the leaf has got the carbon dioxide as well as water. Now the sunlight will be present over here, it will fall. Okay, this is again one of the raw material. And green pigment is very much necessary for the photosynthesis. The plants which is not green in color will not show photosynthesis process, because it is not green in color, because green color is again important. Green color is nothing but it is because of the chlorophyll pigment. Okay, so which are the raw materials? One is carbon dioxide, one is water, one is sunlight, one is chlorophyll. By using all of these raw materials, it will prepare its own food, that is carbohydrates. Okay, they are going to prepare it. Okay, then they will use it for their own purpose, but they will not use it immediately. Rather than that, they will store it in the form of starch. Okay, the plants store the food in the form of starch and later use it whenever it is required, whereas animals, they also again store the food in the body as a glycogen. Okay, remember glycogen, here it is in the form of starch. Yes. So this is the photosynthesis equation. Carbon dioxide exhaled by that of the human beings, water from the root, light, sunlight, chlorophyll, that is the green pigment which is responsible for the green color in the plants. So it gives rise to the glucose. The oxygen will be produced, that will be exhaled out. Okay, again that oxygen will be used by the plants for the respiration purpose, not for the photosynthesis but for the respiration purpose. And even human beings use that for the respiration purpose. And the water, 6 molecules of water. So these are the products, and I will tell you how exactly it is the photosynthesis is going to take place. As I told you, the light energy will be falling on that of the plant, right? Light energy is nothing but sunlight. Okay, so sunlight will be producing the light energy. So this light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll that is present in the leaf. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll pigment. See, just imagine this is one plant. Okay, this is one plant, this is the leaf of the plant, this is the root of the plant. Now the chloroplast cells will be present here, in which the chlorophyll pigment will be there. What will be there? Chlorophyll pigment will be there. The sunlight will fall on this chlorophyll pigment, and this chlorophyll pigment will absorb this sunlight, which is basically light energy, and convert the light energy into which energy? Chemical energy. It will convert the light energy into which energy? Chemical energy. Later that what it will do is nothing but, by using this chemical energy, they will split this water. Water is gotten through that of the roots, right? They from the roots it will be entering into here. It will split the water molecule to hydrogen as well as oxygen. The oxygen will be released out, exhaled out. Okay, it is the product of the photosynthesis. This hydrogen along with some of the electrons uses the energy, and then it reduces this carbon dioxide. To what? This glucose. It reduces this carbon dioxide to this glucose. Yes, that is going to take place. Okay, and in the case of the desert plants, what it is going to happen is nothing but, these steps are not going to take place like immediately, but it is going to take place one after the other. So in the case of the desert plants, for example cactus, what happens? They do not get proper amount of the water, right? So they tend to save the water. So what do? During the daytime they close their stomata. Because if they open their stomata, the transpiration is going to take place and the water will be lost. So in order to prevent that, during the daytime they will close their stomata, and during the night time what do? They will open their stomata. Okay, they will open their stomata, stomata. And what do they do? By taking up the carbon dioxide which is needed for the photosynthesis process, they will prepare a intermediate product called as malic acid. What do they prepare? Malic acid. They prepare malic acid. Now this is the intermediate in the sense middle product they are going to form, and keep it like as it is. Now during the daytime, what do? The stomata will be closed, right? Now the sunlight will be falling upon that of this cactus. Sunlight will be falling upon this cactus, and this sunlight gives which energy? Light energy, which is then converted into which energy? Chemical energy, which is then converted into chemical energy. And later the same process, just like that of the normal green plants, how it is going to take place, the same it is going to take place. By using that chemical energy, the malic acid, then it is converted into, obviously the light energy is absorbed by that of the chlorophyll pigment and converts into that of the chemical energy. Using that chemical energy, this malic acid is formed into what? The carbohydrate or the glucose, right? Yes. So that is going to take place. Next we will be learning about the structure of the leaf for the photosynthesis. So the cross section of the leaf, when we cut down the leaf and put it under the microscope, and we will be observing like this, the microscopic structure, how exactly in the leaf it is going to be there. So there will be a layer over here called as waxy cuticle for the protection purpose. Below to that there will be upper epidermis, and there will be this mesophyll cells will be there. So in the mesophyll cells the chloroplast will be there, and in the chloroplast chlorophyll pigment will be there, which is responsible for the green color. Okay, so in between what will be present? The air spaces will be present, and at last the lower epidermis is present. Again cuticle over here, you can see the stomata, right? The stomata is present. The stomata, we will be learning about the stomata in detail. So stomata will be present, which will be having guard cells, okay, which helps for the exchange of the gases as well as for the transpiration. Transpiration means loss of water. So all this will be going to be there. Yes. Next is a activity to test for the presence of starch in that of the leaves. Okay, so we are going to test whether the green pigment is what necessary or not. So we are going to, chlorophyll pigment is necessary or not. We are going to learn that through this experiment. So what we are going to do is nothing but we are going to take a variegated leaf in the sense money plant or crotons. Okay, the like different colors will be there. Here some yellow color, here green color. So that variegated leaf we are going to take, and we are going to keep that variegated plant basically in that of the dark room for 3 days, because I want the starch to be used up. Okay, because already the starch will be present in that of the leaf, so we have to prove the presence of starch, right? For that is the reason we are going to keep it in the dark room for about 3 days, so all the starch gets used up. Then freshly I am going to keep the plant in the sunlight for the fresh preparation of the starch. Okay, so what in the presence of all of the raw materials, the photosynthesis is going to take place, the carbohydrates is going to produce, and that is stored in the form of what? Starch. We already learned, right? So the starch will be produced, so that is the reason we are going to keep it in the sunlight for about 6 hours. Then we will pluck the leaf, and we will keep the tracing paper, and we will mark wherever the green region is present, wherever the yellow region is present. We are going to mark. If the green region is present over here, we are going to mark like this. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to take this leaf and keep it in the water. Okay, we are going to take the leaf and keep it in the water to boil. We will boil the leaf, because obviously in the chloroplast cells will be present, right? In the chloroplast cells the chlorophyll pigment will be present. I want to rupture the chloroplast cells, because easily the chlorophyll pigment will come out. That is the reason I'm going to keep it to boil in that of the water. Then I am going to dip it in the alcohol solution. Whatever the boiled leaf, I am going to dip it in the alcohol solution, because already what the chlorophyll chloroplast has been ruptured, and the chlorophyll pigment will get out of the cells to that of the alcohol. Okay, alcohol will take up all of the chlorophyll pigment that is been present in that of the chloroplast cell. Then what I am going to do, then I will take this leaf, I will wash it with the water, so it will be colorless, because all of the green color pigment has been gone at this point of time. Now I am going to dip it in which solution? Iodine solution. Now what happens is nothing but, so this iodine solution basically whenever this iodine solution it gets mixed up with that of the starch, it always gives dark blue color. Okay, it always gives dark blue color. So here what happens is nothing but, obviously the starch is present in the green region here, isn't it? Right, the starch is present in that of the green region. Now the chlorophyll pigment all is gone, huh? Okay, only the starch is present over here. Now what I will do is nothing but, when I dip it in the iodine solution, only these regions will get what, the dark blue color. After mixing iodine with that of the starch, whichever is present over here, it will give which color? Dark blue color, which shows that, what does it show? That during the photosynthesis process the starch will be formed, isn't it? The starch will be formed. So the and it is going to only occur in which region? Green parts only. So that's why the chlorophyll is also necessary for the photosynthesis process. So this is the conclusion we are going to get. Yes, so this is the what iodine solution test. This is the decolorized leaf. When we put into that of the iodine, so only the starch region will be getting the dark blue color. Yes. Next is about the stomata. So stomata, I told you I will be explaining you later. So it will be having what? The guard cells like this. This is the guard cells which is going to be there, present in that of the stomata. There will be the stomatal pore in the middle. Stomatal pore. Okay. So so basically this stomata is going to present on that of the surface of the leaf. On the surface of the leaf it is going to present. It is a tiny pores which is going to present on the surface of the leaf. Its function is for the gaseous exchange and also for the transpiration purpose. Transpiration is nothing but loss of air, water from the aerial parts of the plant. So that is the what function of that of the stomata. So as the guard cells will be present, which basically helps for the opening as well as closing of stomata. So what happens when, so if this is the guard cell, just when the water enters, this guard cells is going to swell. So when it is going to swell, this stomatal pore it is going to open. Okay, understood? Okay, when the water gets out of the guard cell, it is going to shrink. Okay, then what happens? When it is shrinking, the stomatal pore gets closed. Okay, so this is what is going to take place: close, open. So this is how what the opening and the closing of the stomata is going to take place with the help of the what? Guard cell. The water and this is exiting out, the water here entering. Yes. Next is, there is one more experiment to prove that the carbon dioxide is also necessary for that of the photosynthesis process. Here what we are going to do is nothing but, here we are going to take the 2-potted plant. So the same way we are going to keep it in the dark room for like several hours. Why? Because in order to for the starch to be used up. Now what we will do, we will take 2-potted plant under that of the sunlight. The sunlight will be present over here. I will be putting the glass jar, the bell jar in both above both of the potted plant, and in one of the potted plant I am going to keep the watch glass which is filled with the potassium hydroxide. Okay, potassium hydroxide. Now this potassium hydroxide has the ability to absorb whatever the carbon dioxide is present. So obviously even if it is closed, the carbon dioxide will still be present. The carbon dioxide will still be present. Now I want it to absorb. That is the reason I am going to keep potassium hydroxide here. So this potassium hydroxide will absorb whatever the carbon dioxide is present over here. Now no carbon dioxide is present over here, carbon dioxide is present over here. I'm going to keep the Vaseline, I'm going to apply a Vaseline gel over here, so just in order to make it airtight, so no air escapes inside it. Now what happens is nothing but, here the sunlight is there, the water is there, the chlorophyll pigment is there, but carbon dioxide is not there. Here the sunlight is there, chlorophyll pigment is there, carbon dioxide is there, water is there. So obviously where the photosynthesis takes place? Here. Whether the photosynthesis takes place here? No, because no carbon dioxide. If one raw material is also missed, the photosynthesis will not going to take place and the carbohydrate is not going to produce. So in order to prove this, what I am going to do is nothing but, I will take a leaf from each of the plant. I am going to test which test? Starch test. Okay, obviously starch test in the sense I am going to dip it with the iodine. So obviously when the iodine reacts with that of the starch, it is going to give which color? Dark blue color, right? So here, which of the leaf is going to give dark blue color? This leaf is going to give dark blue color, because the photosynthesis has been occurred here, and the starch, the carbohydrate has been produced, and it is stored in the form of the starch, because all of the raw materials are present over here. Whereas here the carbon dioxide is not present, hence this leaf will not going to give the dark blue color. So which shows that carbon dioxide is necessary for that of the photosynthesis process. Yes. Okay. So next is the strategies of the heterotrophic nutrition. So about heterotrophic nutrition. So heterotrophic nutrition, as I told you earlier, it is a type of nutrition in which is exhibited by that of the heterotrophs. So heterotrophs are nothing but they depend on other organisms for their food. Okay. So there are several types of heterotrophic nutrition that is going to take place. One is saprophytic, one is holozoic, one more is parasitic. Okay. Saprophytic nutrition, what happens is nothing but, in the case of saprophytic nutrition, there are some of the organisms. Okay. What do they do is nothing but they will digest the food outside the body of the organism. For example, dead and decayed matter. Okay, dead and decaying matter. They feed on the dead and decaying matter outside the body. Then they will absorb that they will digest the food outside the body. After digesting, then they will absorb that digested food, okay, inside. First they will break down outside, then they will absorb inside. So which is called as saprophytic nutrition, which is exhibited by the mushrooms as well as fungi. Okay. Holozoic nutrition, in the sense, we human beings, what do? We take in the food first inside, then we bite it, and it is passed through that of the alimentary canal, then it is digested there, right? So the breaking down of the food that is going to take place inside the body, that we call it as holozoic nutrition. What is parasitic nutrition then? Parasitic in the sense, so without killing the organism, some of the organism will be deriving the nutrients. For example, lice, where it is present in that of the hair, it is present, which causes itching in the hair, isn't it? So this lice which is present in that of the hair will basically they will absorb the nutrients from your body, but it will not kill you, isn't it? So that is an example for parasitic. Even kaskata is a plant which is a non-green plant. Okay, it is a non-green plant. It will not undergo photosynthesis. It climbs on that of the green plant which is undergoing photosynthesis. Okay, it grows on that of the other green plants, and whatever the photosynthetic in the sense photosynthetic product, which is the carbohydrate that is produced by that of the green plant, it will absorb that. Okay, so it is going to feed on that of the green plant. It will absorb the nutrients from that of the green plant. So that is the example for parasitic, but it will not kill it. Tapeworm as well, the tapeworm which is present inside the body of the human beings, so it will take up absorb the nutrients from that of the intestine. So that is basically what tapeworms. Okay, so these are about the heterotrophic nutrition. So I told you this is an example for saprophytic, example for parasitic. This is kaskata, by the way. This is kaskata, which grows on that of the other plant and absorb the nutrients. It is a non-green, you can see yellow, right? It is non-green plant. Obviously it will not undergo photosynthesis. That is the reason they are going to feed on the other plants for their food. Mushroom, saprophytic, they will digest the food outside, then they will engulf it. And tapeworm, it will take up the nutrients whenever the digestion is going on in that of the intestine. So it will not kill the organism, but it will take up the nutrients. And this is the lice which is present in that of the hair. Without killing, it will absorb the nutrients. Yes. Okay, there are other examples also, ticks and all. Ticks, the ticks which is present in that of the animal body, that is again the example for the parasitic nutrition. The leeches, that is again example for parasitic nutrition. Yes. Okay, next is about the nutrition in that of the amoeba. How exactly the nutrition is going to take place in amoeba? Amoeba undergoes holozoic nutrition. Holozoic means what? They will engulf the food inside, then they will digest the food. So it undergoes holozoic nutrition. So there are several steps in that of the digestion of amoeba. So these are the steps. steps. First ingestion in, so they will take in the food, ingestion, then digestion inside the food vacuole. What is going to take place, the food is going to be broken down with the help of the enzyme. Then that digested food is going to pass where, to that of the cytoplasm, that is called as absorption. Then that digested food is used up by that of the body, goes to that of the different parts of the body and helps for the growth of the body. It is called as assimilation. At the end, whatever the undigested food which is not required for the body has to be eventually removed out of the body. That is done by the process of egestion. Whenever the amoeba finds the food, it will develop a false feet, pseudopodia. It will develop a finger-like projection called as pseudopodia, and it will encircle around it and take the food inside of which it will develop a food vacuole. Breaking down of the food is going to take place, and the digested food is used up by that of the body, and the undigested food will be removed out of the body by the process of egestion. Yes, that is about amoeba. Paramecium also same thing, so that the same process is going to take place, which is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. It also undergoes holozoic nutrition. So instead of pseudopodia, they will be having a hair-like projection called as cilia, which will sweep the food towards where, towards this oral groove. And then what happens, this food will enters into that of the cell mouth, and then inside that of the food vacuole it is going to be broken down, and the digested food it is going to move to that of the cytoplasm called as absorption. Then that digested food is used up by that of the body, that is called as what, assimilation. And the undigested food is removed out of the body through the anal pore, and that process is called as egestion. So the same thing here, the cilia is present, oral groove is present, rest everything is the same thing as that of the amoeba. So that's about it, my dear students. So yes, we will revise once again. Quickly we are going to revise. So the life process, obviously when we say that something is alive, when there is some sort of movement is going to take place. When we are sleeping also, there's some sort of movement is taking place. Plants are alive as well because they also undergo the movement called as growth. Okay, the movement is necessary, even the molecular movement is going to take place inside that of the body, and that is necessary. And what else? Life process is nothing but some of the events that is taking place in the body of the organism to keep the organism alive. Even if we are sitting idle, not doing anything, the life process is still going to take place. So in the where do we get the energy from? We get the energy from the carbon based food, and this carbon based food is prepared by that of the gotten from that of the plants, because they prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, and we feed on them. Then that food is broken down into simple forms and energy is produced. That process is called as respiration. Okay, and the plants prepare their own food by the help of the photosynthesis by using some of the inorganic substances called carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. Okay, and the organisms are classified into autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs, as we say, it is nothing but the green plants which prepare their own food, and some of the bacteria called as cyanobacteria. So photosynthesis, they are going to use some of the inorganic material like carbon dioxide, water, they will use sunlight, chlorophyll, and the carbohydrates will be produced. This carbohydrates will be stored in the form of starch in that of the plants, whereas in that of the animals it is stored in the form of glycogen. This is the photosynthesis equation. The carbon dioxide which is taken up from that of the atmosphere, which is exhaled by that of the human beings. Then the water is gotten from that of the leaf. The sunlight will fall on that of the chlorophyll pigment, which is responsible for the green color in that of the plant, and converts light energy into that of the chemical energy, and it will break down the water into hydrogen and what, oxygen. So the oxygen is the product over here. Okay, and this hydrogen with some of the electrons, using the energy, they will reduce this carbon dioxide to that of the glucose. Yes, this is the equation of photosynthesis, and this is the steps. In the case of the desert plants, obviously desert plants tend to save the water. That is the reason they are going to close the stomata during the daytime in order to prevent from losing of the water undergoing transpiration. They open the stomata at night, and by opening the stomata they will take up carbon dioxide, and they will prepare an intermediate product called as malic acid. Later in the morning time, what is going to happen? happen, I mean in the daytime, obviously the stomata is going to close, and by using the light energy, the light energy is converted into chemical energy after the absorption of the chlorophyll pigment, and this malic acid is converted into the chlorophyll. So it is going to take place half and half, not at a time. Okay, this is the structure of the leaf. So upper epidermis is going to be there, lower epidermis, in between the lower epidermis stomata is going to be there for the exchange of gases for the transpiration purpose. The waxy cuticle is going to be there for the purpose of protection. So chloroplast cells, the chloroplast will be going to be there in between that of the mesophyll cells. This chloroplast will be having the chlorophyll, which is responsible for the green color. Yes, so we will learning about how to test the presence of the starch. What we are going to take is nothing but we are going to take the leaf and we are going to keep it in the dark room in order to use up the starch, and then again freshly we are going to keep it in that of the sunlight, and then what we are going to do is nothing but we are going to trace it in the paper, and after tracing we are going to dip it in the boiled water in order to rupture the chloroplast cell so that the chlorophyll pigment can easily come out. Then we are going to dip it in that of the alcohol solution, so all of the chlorophyll pigment easily comes out of the chloroplast cells. Then what we are going to do, then we are going to wash it, and then we are going to test the iodine test. The iodine, when it is mixed with that of the starch, gives which color? It gives a blue black color. Obviously wherever the green region is present, it gets which color? It gets the bluish black color. Yes, the stomata is basically present on the tiny pores which is present on the upper part, I mean present on that of the surface of that of the leaf, and this stomata helps for the exchange of the gases as well as helps for the transpiration purpose, exchange of gases during photosynthesis, during respiration, all of that, and transpiration, loss of water also. So it is going to open as well as close. There is a guard cell present like this, and there is a stomatal pore present like this. When the water enters into the guard cells, it is going to swell and the stomatal pore is going to open. When the water gets out of the guard cell, it is going to shrink and the stomata is going to the stomatal pore is going to close. So that is going to take place. There is one more experiment to show that the carbon dioxide is also essential. We are going to take the two potted plant and keeping it in the dark room to use up the starch. Then we will be keeping it under the sunlight. We will be covering it with that of the bell jar, applying some of the Vaseline over here so that no air escapes here. And what we are going to do is nothing but we are going to keep it for several hours, and before that we are going to keep a china dish over here and the potassium hydroxide. So all of the carbon dioxide will be absorbed by this potassium hydroxide in one of the plant. So obviously carbon dioxide is not present here, carbon dioxide is present here, so no photosynthesis is going to take place here. Photosynthesis is going to take place here when we test the presence of the starch with the help of the iodine test. So this is not going to give the dark blue color, but this is going to give the dark blue color. Yes, then about the heterotrophic nutrition in the sense the plants, the animals which depend on the other organisms for their food, in the sense basically plants. Okay, so what is going to happen is nothing but there are several type of the heterotrophic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition in the sense, so saprophytic nutrition in the sense the plants is going to not plants, some of the organisms will digest the food outside, then they will engulf the food. They are saprophytic nutrition. Holozoic in the sense some of the organisms including humans, they will first engulf the food, then they will digest the food. And there are some of the organisms which will derive the nutrition from the organisms without killing the organism, that is parasitic nutrition. Yes, so these are the examples of it, you can see over here. So yes, then about the nutrition in the amoeba. So first ingestion is going to take place with the help of the pseudopodia. It is going to engulf the food, and this food is going to get inside to that of the food vacuole. With the help of the enzyme, it is going to digest. That process is called as digestion. That digested food will move to that of the cytoplasm, which is called as absorption. Then that digested food will be used up by the body in for the what do we call it as for the energy purpose as well as growth, and it is called as assimilation. And whatever the undigested food is there, that is going to eject out, remove out of the body, called as egestion. Paramecium, same thing. Instead of pseudopodia, there is cilia which will sweep the food towards that of the oral groove, and then that it will reach to that of the mouth, and the digestion it is going to take place. That is nothing but the food vacuole. The digestion is going to take place. After digestion, what happens is nothing but the digested food will be moving to that of the cytoplasm, that is called as absorption. absorption, then it is used up by that of the body for its growth, called as assimilation, and the undigested food will be removed out through this anal pore. Okay, that is called as egestion. So that's about it, my dear students. Let's meet again in the next video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Until then, keep watching, keep learning, and very, very, very importantly, enjoy while learning. See you. Bye bye.